The stream, as some of you may know by now, is put together by EcoGalaxy, which is a platform for climate education. We work with schools in India and Europe. And the founders are Shreyas Sridharan and myself, Urvi Desai. Essentially, it is our dream to build a nature-rich future for ourselves, as well as the life-sustaining biodiversity that we share our planet with. We're thrilled to welcome all of you. I also see some school students in the audience. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the teachers and the parents who brought them here. Before I introduce our speaker for today, EcoGalaxy begins each session with an acknowledgement. The land on which we gather, and perhaps the land on which we live, once belonged to our city's rocks, trees, insects, birds, and countless other living beings that are indigenous to this land. We acknowledge this in the spirit of solidarity, humility, and a respect for our shared existence on the planet. All right, so the session right now is Natural History Writings by none other than the master himself, Dr. Asad Remani. Dr. Remani was the director of the Bombay Natural History Society, executive editor of the Journal of BNHS, and editor of several BNHS magazines. He is a scientific consultant to the Corbett Foundation and Hemchandra Mahindra Trust, served on various committees of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of the Government of India, and was awarded the Member of Honor by BirdLife International in the UK. He's guided 11 PhDs, published 26 books and counting. I believe he's just wrapped up writing his latest book. Nearly 160 peer-reviewed scientific papers, 90 book reviews, 75 editorials, and more than 350 popular articles on nature conservation. He was a Global Council member of BirdLife International and Chairman BirdLife Asia Council. Living with Birds is his most recent book. It is spectacular, and we encourage all of you to please read it. For many of us, Dr. Remani is the great master of conservation, the one who carries on the mantle of those before him with conviction and incredible rigor of work. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Remani, for adopting EcoGalaxy and all of us. And of course, it's a privilege and honor to have you speak. Please join me in welcoming on stage.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. It was supposed to be it was called as a workshop, but I conduct writing workshop, popular and scientific writing workshop, or a course. I call it a course. Thank you. For almost 7 days. And it is a very intensive course in the sense that I take only 15 students, and they have to be present there, and I also work with them. I see their popular articles and scientific papers, correct them, sit with them. So that sort of a thing is the learning process of the. So this is just a lecture of not a workshop. One of the lectures of that workshop, in which I am very interested in writing. So I would. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll sit here then. It will be much better. Mic वो नहीं है, stand नहीं है. So this is sort of a natural history writings, sort of a global perspective on that. See, we have been communicating, human beings have been communicating since we became a human being or evolved into a human being. So some of the cave paintings were at that time, the writing was not discovered, but some of the cave paintings are excellent natural history observations. It's not that it is just, they are really good. So many of the animals are life-size in the sense proportionate. They are not artistic, they are actually real. And then they also have I'm not being able to show all the cave paintings. They also show the behavior of the animals. So that was a way of communication in the earlier days. Now we come to the ancient Greeks and Romans. First known Aristotle. I am sure all of you must have heard the name of particularly the students. Aristotle's name. You will be surprised to know that he wrote the first book of zoology in the world. So you can read from this inquiries and history of animals. And he wrote many other books also, many philosophical books. And the major textbook, the first known attempt to classify animals into groups according to their behavior, and most importantly by the similarities and differences between their physiology. And it was written in the 4th century BC. This book is in 9 parts. Please note it down the things, and you can get much more detail from the Google search or from your teachers. The book came into 9 parts. Volume 1 to 4 deal with differences of body parts of different animals, morphology and other things. And then the volume 8 deals with differences in specific characters or sort of a poetic taxonomy. He started the sort of it was not the classical taxonomy or the taxonomy which we know these days, but at least he was putting the animals according to their classification. Fortunately, this book was translated by Arabs, and it was known as the Kitab-e-Hayawan, Kitab-e-Hayawan. And like in the olden days, what they used to do, they used to be not translated, they used to rewrite it in the sense, they will add their own observations also. It is just not literal translation. So they have added a lot of things which was not written by Aristotle, but they were known by other people and their own observations. And some of these observations are extremely good, and even now they are valid in the sense that, so I will not be able to give all the details of this book, but please write it down and then you can get much more information from there. And this book was translated into English by Richard Creswell in 1862. And from there we came to know that so much information is available in that. Like, just see, the Aristotle, tongue of the chameleon. He was the first to describe the chameleon has got a long tongue, and the later morphologists and like the inkjet of cephalopods. No, cephalopod जानते हैं जो पानी में समंदर में होता है वो inkjet छोड़ता है to escape. This was all written by Aristotle or described by Aristotle, and of course later much more information was made by the different scientists. Twisting of the neck by wryneck. There is a bird which I have ringed it many times, and if you catch it, it will twist its neck. Wryneck is known as a wryneck. So Aristotle has also described it, and he has also written, we do not know why it does this. So these are natural history curiosity and natural history observations which lack of red bloods in invertebrates. And he has also asked the question, do the fish sleep? Because they are all the time moving around. So this is a sort of the curiosity as well as the observations which he has done. Migration, camouflage, and many other social lives of bees, impact of climate. At that time, he has written impact of climate, what was changing at that time, 2,400 years ago. And animal communication. So I would say he was one of the first, he was the first zoologist who has written a book on the thing. In Sanskrit literature also, there is a wonderful description of animals and their behavior. I don't know Sanskrit, but I have read some translated version, and many times it is exactly what it is happening or what we are naturalists will describe it. It is so well written. Of course, sometimes there are mistakes also which happens in any book, even the latest scientific books can be. But most of the animals which were of use, they were described in very detail, and their behavior was also studied and described in Sanskrit literature. And the animals which were used in wars, for example, elephant and horses, particularly elephants, their behavior, how to keep them, how to maintain them, what to feed them, when to feed them, all those things, many of those things are available in Sanskrit literature. There is a wonderful book, Birds in Sanskrit Literature. Please note down the name, Dave's book. It is still available, but it is not easily, in the sense that Amazon possibly will have this. 1980s. I have got a copy of this book, and then some group of like ducks, cranes, and they are very well described in the Birds in Sanskrit literature. And have you written it down? The name. Mughal, they were also very good naturalists. From first Mughal to the last Mughal, Jahangir, Babur to Jahangir to Aurangzeb, all were very interested in nature. They came from a dry area. So for them, if you read Mughal Babar Nama, Jahangir Nama, Akbar Nama, every second page there will be some description of something which they have seen it for the first time. Because India is such a biodiverse country. They came from Central Asia. And so most of the things were not there. So whatever they will encounter, they will be amazed and they will describe it in detail. And there was during the Jahangir period, Jahangir was a naturalist actually. And Salim Ali used to say that he would have been a much more happy person to be a curator of a museum than a ruler of India. He was so interested in it. So it was said that if you want to please Jahangir, in the olden days, whenever you go to see a Maharaja or Raja, you have to bring some gift to them. So for Jahangir, the best gift was an animal, which he has not seen it. They said, if you want to please Jahangir, get some animal from him, and I'll talk. So there is a book known as the Jahangir the Naturalist, MALV in 1968. It was published by the National Institute of Sciences of India. आप लोग बताएं, देखो, curiosity, because they were so curious, curiosity will lead to science, better science also. Curiosity is, they say, there is the mother of science. ठीक है? Jahangir, he went to Kashmir and he saw dipper. There is a dipper, एक इतनी बड़ी चिड़िया होती है. उर्दू जानते हो, हिंदुस्तानी समझते हैं आप लोग? हाँ, ठीक है, इतनी बड़ी चिड़िया होती है. Oh, sorry, there is one person sitting, he may not. So it is a small bird, but it lives in the water. It feeds in the streams and it goes inside the water. So when Jahangir saw it, he said, this bird should have webbed feet. Because the जो बत्तख होती है ना, उसके ऐसे ये होता है ना, यहाँ पर वेब कहते हैं उसको, है ना, बिकॉज उसको तैरने में आसानी रहती है. तो उसने कहा कि इसको पकड़ के लाओ, I want to see the web feet. Then they brought three individuals and he said, there is no web feet in this. He said, how does it live? So he observed it in there. He said, no, it walks in the water, inside the water. So this description was written a very long time ago. It is not a new description in the sense, but I have written an article on this. It is a wonderful bird. If you go to Kashmir or Ladakh or Himachal Pradesh, you will see it in the, and it is also an indicator of the streams because it lives only in the clean streams. I'll go. British period, we have got mainly shikar stories, Atkin, Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling का नाम सुना है आप लोगों ने? और Anderson and Jim Corbett and EPG. These are a wonderful book. EPG, I would say that one of the Rudyard Kipling का नाम सुना है आपने? Jungle Book. There is a movie also है. सब वो इसी है. उसने स्टोरीज भी लिखी, नेचुरल हिस्ट्री ऑब्जर्वेशंस भी उसने लिखे अपने, मगर उसमें थोड़ा सा ड्रामा ऐड कर दिया उसने. वो लिखने का तरीका होता है, पंचतंत्र में है. कॉर्बेट का तो आई नॉट गोइंग टू द डिटेल. ही रोट्स वंडरफुल बुक्स and Jim Corbett National, the first national park was established and it was later called, now we call it the Corbett National Park. Man-eaters and his, most of the people read his shikar books, but I would request people to read his My India. in which he has written how he loves India and how he was a British and he settled after not retirement but later life. He went to Kenya and then he died there. But his My India book is wonderful book. This was written nearly 70 years ago. Uh, One of the most famous books which I would request all the naturalists or young naturalists to read is The Wildlife of India by EPG. EPG was a tea planter in Assam, and he wrote a book which has not been out of print for since that time. And this book was the most influential book of my career also, because I think I read it in 1965 or 66, like that. So this, there are a lot of other things about it. I'll go fast. And there are, in many universities, there are natural history writing courses. You can see the Queen's University, University of South Wales, University of Edinburgh, and unfortunately, I don't know any university in India which have the natural history scientific writing courses. So natural history is very well, read subjects, particularly in the European countries. I'll go. What is nature writing? Nature writing has a personal touch. Natural history writing is that you write about the natural history of the bird, an animal, or a frog, or a bat, or so. But nature writing is that you bring your personal touch. You become much more poetic, and you write about the scientific knowledge of the species, but you add your own description. But don't add anything which is not true. So you have to have this sort of a writing is much more lyrical, poetic, and with very good vocabulary, very good sentences, and like that. So I'll go fast. Natural history writing in India, there are many journals which publish or used to publish natural history articles. Bombay Natural History Society is one of the most famous journals which is still going on. It was started in 1896 and it is still going on. And early papers were long, discursive and descriptive, mainly written by hunters and keen observers like Baker, Bustard, Pocock, Whistler, and Salim Ali. आपने सालिम अली का नाम सुना है? किसने नहीं सुना हाथ उठाओ? सबने सुना. तुमने नहीं सुना? अच्छा, Salim Ali was an ornithologist. ठीक है, दोनों लोग तो बच्चे होते हैं. And his paper on bear was one of the first papers to be written on the behavior of the bird. And the science of ethology was not started by this paper, but at the same time when the other papers were also being written or natural history observations were being written. The nesting habits of the bear. It is such a wonderful paper. There is not much strategy, but his main observations and 9 months observations. It is a classical paper. There are 2 or 3 ornithologists. See, at that time, the ornithology means you study the specimens, dead specimens. You go to the library or to the museum and study, what do you call it? You do the morphometry and like that. Not many people were studying the behavior. Salim Ali and Nicholas Timbergen in Germany and Julian Huxley in UK, they were the people who first studied the birds in nature, and then the science of ethology was started in this. Zafar Fateh Ali, he was known as the uncle of young birders, and I'm sure that many of you know about him. He was wonderful naturalist, and he started newsletter for birdwatcher. And my first article was also published in newsletter for birdwatchers. And he was such a wonderful person that you send an article, and we generally write articles in English, English or our own language with a lot of mistakes and like that. But he will rewrite it and publish it in your name, and of course your name, and then he will not even take credit for rewriting the whole thing. Sometimes the original article and the published paper will be so different. That you say, yeah, oh, have I written this? Because I sent something. So I would say that he encouraged for almost 60 years, he was the doyen of the. Similarly, most of the people have heard the name of Salim Ali, but not many people know that Humayun Abdul Ali was one of the finest naturalists of India. He wrote nearly 500 short notes and papers. And he was interested in everything, every living thing, including human being. so whatever you do, in my book I have written, I spend a So, and he was interested from fungi to tiger. And in every aspect, but he did not write so many popular articles. M. Krishnan is my, darwaza band kar diya. M. Krishnan is my guru. I started reading M. Krishnan's articles. What I am sitting here is because of this gentleman. Because he wrote for 44 years in the paper known as The Statesman. And I used to read, every fortnight I used to read his articles. And he didn't write many books, but his articles were published for 44. And the two generations were influenced by M. Krishnan's popular articles. He was such an influencer. Unfortunately, he is not so well known in India. Though there is I think there is a stamp on him. He got a Padam Shri, which I think he refused, and and he was also a wonderful photographer. I have got a full lecture on M. Krishnan, just on M. Krishnan himself. He was. I'll take. How many minutes do you have? 10 minutes more? Then we'll have question answer. Okay. Okay. Thank you. For scientists, I would say that popular writing is also extremely important. Many people don't think that popular writing is their profession or in their science, for example. For example, like thermodynamics or nuclear physics, general public is not directly involved. We all benefit from all this science. I'm not saying that this science is bigger than that science. We all benefit, but they are not generally. But for conservation science, people have to be involved. That day I was telling Ashish during the lecture that art is I. You do it yourself. Like poetry or whatever writing. And science is we. Science is incremental. I did research on this, then I added to the science. So it is not the science is not I. You cannot say that, oh, I have not seen any paper, I have this is all. You may discover something, but still there is a background behind it, and then there is but conservation is we. Everyone has to be involved. Hello? I thought that you were saying something. So if conservation is we, and how do we get we? Unless people know what you are talking about. So a lot of people, India has got wonderful scientists, natural history scientists, and we have got Wildlife Institute of India, BNHS, and many other organizations. So those research should be translated into in a language which the people can understand. So like conversation and in popular article we generally don't give references, but some magazines do it, but that is a different subject like that. Some scientists even consider it below their dignity to write popular articles, but many of the scientists, the younger generation, like you see, yesterday we had a wonderful lecture by Rohit. It was so engaging, and thrilling, I would say. And I am sure, Rohit, where is Rohit sitting? You should start writing. The way you were speaking yesterday, I'm sure you will be a very good natural history writer. I'm extremely happy the way you were talking about that. And the good talker can also be a good. ताली बजाओ सब इसके लिए. इधर आ जाओ इधर आ. Yeah, please come. नहीं, please come here. I'm very happy with it yesterday. But we should pass a resolution that he will start writing popular articles. He has. we have many, conservationists should become storytellers, I would say, like we all call it. And I'll give you example of some wonderful conservationists and scientists who are also good storyteller. Like Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond writes, he's based in Missouri, and he's now 89 years old or 87 years old, something like that. So he writes on natural history, not natural history, stories which have huge connection with nature. Actually, all his books and stories are connected with nature. Then we have got Arifa Tahseen, my friend's daughter. She also writes. Katie Bagli, she's Bombay-based. She has written 52 books for children as well as. And then Deepak Dalal, I show you. Then we have got George Scheller. He is one of the topmost scientists of the world. He writes popular articles also, and he writes books also. Jane Goodall ka naam to recently she died at the age of 92. And she started writing in the National Geographic. And later, of course, she has written George Adamson and many other things. This is a book which has saved millions of, this came out in 1959, and then the Serengeti Shall Not Die. The father and son, they were German, father and son went to Serengeti, Tanzania, and they saw the migration of animals and huge number of animals. Based on their recommendation and based there on a popular book, the Serengeti National Park and Masai Mara National Park and the whole ecosystem was saved. That's why I say their book has resulted in saving millions or trillions of life, I would say. And Born Free, I spoke to you about it, and then I'll go. Deepak Dalal is a natural history writer who lives with the scientist. Sometimes for 6 months and sometimes for 3 or 4 months. He will go to the field, live with scientists, and then weave a story around the person's work. The Arifa Tahseen is betting The Land of Setting Sun and other nature tales. Prerna Bidna is another wonderful naturalist. She also writes book, and you see George Scheller is releasing her book. This happened in 2017 in WII. This Rachel Carson, Silent Spring, is the most influential book was written by a woman. And Jamal Ara, I would say that Jamal Ara was the first Indian ornithologist of India, women ornithologist of India. Not many people know about it. Only recently I got this picture by my friend, and she wrote nearly 50 research papers. She used to go, I'm talking about 50s and 60s. 70 saal pehle. She used to go to the field in Jharkhand, and then she used to send her observations to newsletter for bird watchers, later for 59 onwards, and JBNHS. And Bhaskaran, who is he? He was a postman journal of Tamil Nadu. But he wrote wonderful, and he has written columns and columns of articles regularly, both in English as well as in Tamil. So he was also John Singh. He was always very curious. He's in this picture also. क्या चीज़ है ये कर रहा है इस तरह से and he was also certainly the topmost wildlife biologist of India. But recently we have Ranjit Dalal. He writes in Indian Express and many other magazines on nature, and almost every week article by him will be published there in his books. I'll go fast. Few books on natural history in India. There are some books I'm taking. I'll go. So in the natural history writing, captions and the start is very important. Very, very important, because you have to hook the reader. For as soon as they start reading, they say, okay, hook. Like if you see Migration of Arctic Tern, एक वो हेडलाइन है और दूसरी हेडलाइन है एंजॉइंग द ट्रू वर्ल्ड. विच वन इज बेटर? तुम कौन सा पढ़ोगे? विच वन विल क्रिएट योर क्यूरियोसिटी? बताओ भाई. 9 months on the wing. अगर तुम पढ़ो किसी किसी पेपर वो आर्टिकल का टाइटल है 9 months on the wing, I am sure you will be interested to read it. So the caption is extremely important. You have to it has to be catchy. You see some of these captions: Naked Ape, Follow the Sparrow, Stones of Silence, Josh Sellers, Blue Dot, Pale Blue Dot, Carl Sagan ki, and The Murder on the Orient Express, like that. These are the very catchy titles. I mean, anyone would like to read the book or an article like that. Starting, as I said, is a cow is white in color. It has 4 legs. This is a very banal thing. But if you say cows have favorite friends and like to spend most of the time with them, actually cows have sahelis. सहेली जानते हैं लड़कियों की दोस्तें होती हैं ना उनको. Actually, if you they develop the saheli, they will be very happy with that. Now, if you start with this, then you will say, yeah, what is inside? Similarly, or if you say with only 4% of the global terrestrial area, India has the largest cow population in the world. This is very informative, and you will say you want to read it further. These are people who want to read the books. Writing science, please note it down if you want to, or take a photograph of this. The sense of style on writing, the memoir, the craft, or writing well, and all those things. We want to take a picture of this. Yes, please. Qualities of writers, and all of you can become a storyteller. They are generally very deep thinkers. They maintain notes. Maintaining notes, I speak or talk about that also in my course. Actually, I conduct a course of popular and scientific writing. It is a 6 days course for 15 students. I take only 15 students. It's a very intensive course. We do exercise, and I give exercise and read it like that. They are natural history writers are also very good observant of the detail, excellent memory, need for solitude, sensitivity, and the authenticity. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. And all of us have untold stories. All of us can become writers. All of you sitting here can become writers. Thank you very much. I think I have on time. I would like people to ask questions, and then it should be a much more, what do you call it, informative. There is no question. I should have taken more time then. I left 20 minutes for question. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
My name is Roshni. So, we are talking a lot about natural history writing, or there's a lot about writing about nature. So, now there's a lot of technological advancement that is happening. So, do you think there's any role of technology that would impact this natural history writing?
No. Natural history writing is also your own writing. It is also creativity. And technology, what you can use it, Chat GPT, you can use to improve English or is slightly style. But Chat GPT, you can write an article in the sense that, but people will find out this is not written by you. So you have to be creative. All writers have their own style. And Chat GPT will create his own style. It will not be your style. Best thing is that to become a good natural history writer, you read the natural history articles by M. Krishnan. M. Krishnan had his own style. John Singh has his own style. I have my own style writing. So you should develop your own style also. So use technology, use, spelling, spell check, all these things you use it. I also use it. But you have to write your articles. Okay. Any other question? Yes.
Sir, in the starting of the presentation, you have shown some cave paintings. You have shown some cave paintings, right?
Yes.
How do we...
I didn't paint them.
I know. That is a good one, sir. So they say some are painted 25,000 years ago, some are painted 5,000 years ago. I was always curious about how do you determine that time period by the painting? Is there a certain process or... Because history is always explained in the timeline. So I just want to know about it, sir.
That is carbon se determine karte. They determine the not exact years, but around the by carbon. So
Carbon dating.
Carbon dating. So it is done, and there are some paintings which are 20,000 years ago, and India also has got wonderful paintings in Chhattisgarh. Not many people know Madhya Pradesh. Yes. Not many people know. We all think some of these paintings are from France. I don't know the spelling or how do you pronounce that cave's name, because French is very difficult for me.
Even in Andhra Pradesh, in my hometown, there is a place which recently was discovered. Is there any literature about what material they used in that cave painting, sir?
It depends from country to country and age of the painting, because they were also improving. Because they started with a chalk or something like that, was simplistic things. But then later the paintings have got their own natural paints over there. So they develop the paints, and some of the paintings are so well done. I have not shown it because of the lack of time. I've got 4 or 5 slides. There is a painting of a pride of lioness, all looking at one side. Wonderful, because when they are hunting, they also hunt like that. Even in the National Geographic magazine these days also you will see the same behavior. So this was painting 3,000 years ago, probably 4,000 years ago. And these paintings are also sometimes life size. Yes. And accurate to the as detailed as possible. So
Thank you, sir.
You can make out the animal. Yes. हमने इतना अच्छा समझाया, कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है भाई. अच्छा.
Hello, sir. I would like to ask if someone would like to take natural history as a career. What's a good place to start? How do you go about? Do you write and send your articles?
Studying the natural history, wildlife and others.
Yeah, sort of popular.
So there are many organizations like the Bombay Natural History Society is one of the oldest organizations. Wildlife Institute of India is there. Then Wildlife Trust of India. So there are a number of organizations. There are thousands of scientists are working.
So do you have to like enlist yourself as a researcher? Do you have to enlist yourself as a researcher, or can you do it like, part-time?
In some institutes like BNHS, it's not necessary that you have to have zoology or botany as a main subject. The most important thing is that you have to have interest. I have appointed some people who are from the economics background, but they were interested in nature, and then they did wonderful work with nature. One of my finest students is Kaustav Sharma. He was MSc Physics. He came to me when he was doing MSc previous, and he said, "Sir, मुझे तो बहुत शौक है. I am very interested." He said, "First you complete your MSc, then come to me." And then as soon as he completed his MSc, I took him, and Bombay University said, "No, how can you take him, because he is for PhD. How can you take him for PhD? Because he is MSc Physics. He is not MSc Zoology or Botany." Then I have to convince the Vice Chancellor, and finally they agreed. He turned out to be the finest naturalist or naturalist students of my life. He is now the head of the research of snow leopard conservancy of the world. He lives in Tajikistan and he operates all over the world. So the most important thing is to have the interest. Like earlier speakers, before this, before lunch, people were saying you have to have interest in that. And then in front of you, just in front of you, a topmost ornithologist is sitting, Ashish Petti. I don't even know what is his background, academic background. I never asked. But he is a wonderful observer of nature, and I have learned many things from him. So you have to become, I'm not saying that everyone can become, you have to have a knowledge, and you have to have the right type of mentors who can